This interview is part of our Road to IGF series. You can find the rest by clicking here. Alto's Odyssey takes players on a stunning sandboarding journey across shifting sands, gliding across striking landscapes and beautiful backdrops that hint at a world of stories beyond the dunes. Gamasutra sat down with Nesbitt Lead, artist and programmer of the Excellence in Visual Art, nominated Alto's Odyssey, to talk about the thoughts behind the game's art style, how its minimalism helps players bring their own creativity to the game, and hinting at larger stories through visuals. My name is Nesbitt, and I am the lead artist and programmer for Alto's Odyssey. I did not get into games until fairly recently. Alto's Adventure was actually my first experience working as a game developer. Before that, I was working mainly as a freelance illustrator and designer, but I have always had an interest in art and technology and the way they intersect, so making the jump to games was actually quite a seamless transition. It's a medium I could not be happier to be working in. Following Alto's adventure with a game set in the desert was something that naturally suggested itself quite early on, even before we finished the first game. The real challenge came from trying to reconsider the game's mechanics and ask ourselves what was integral to the overall experience, and what we could iterate and improve on for the next game. We were also keen to avoid any typical desert cliches and be respectful of the environments and cultures we were drawn from. The game is built with Unity, which is an integral part of our toolset, and allows us to make games in the way we do. Neither myself nor my colleague Grainger have a formal background in computer science, so the prospects of having to build and maintain our own game would be prohibitively difficult, especially for such a small team. Off-the-shelf engines like Unity and Unreal have gone along to democratizing the art of making games, allowing a much broader range of would-be developers to try their hand at creating something personal to them without the barriers to entry that might have existed a decade ago. We have always wanted to try to make the player feel like they are just a tiny part of a much larger world. In many ways, the game's environments are the main character, with Alto and the gang being secondary to that. We actively try to avoid showing the characters too much in our marketing material for this reason. We hope this allows anyone to be able to project themselves into the world and feel like they are experiencing their own adventure, as opposed to one depicted for them. The procedural aspect of the series is ultimately what allowed us to ship a game that could even hope to stand alongside others with much larger budgets or more experienced teams. We are able to focus our efforts on refining a core set of rules that generate a seemingly large experience from a relatively small number of assets, and can be refined throughout development. It also means that no two players' experiences will ever be the same, with all the game's overlapping systems working together to create an infinite number of unique possibilities. The key focus when designing the game's content was to try to make everything feel as natural as possible, with a sense of balance and flow. We mix a lot of procedural content with handcrafted sequences in order to punctuate the random nature of the game and give players memorable moments in action. However, it's also important to ensure these bespoke sequences do not draw too much attention to themselves or appear too frequently, as they can quickly become tiresome and stand out for the wrong reasons. To combat this, we sprinkled the game with a lot of subtle, understated moments to help balance things out. There's definitely a distinct rhythm to the gameplay that took time to get right. We always wanted to create the impression of a living, breathing environment with its own history and culture. We want to spark the PLAYRESIMAGINATION, and hopefully leave them feeling curious about what exists beyond the screen. This comes from a lot of different details that we try to work into every aspect of the game, whether that's the butterflies that flitter around, or the gradually shifting lunar cycles. It hopefully all builds towards a sense of something much larger than yourself that you want to keep returning to. I am a huge fan of art that plays with the boundaries of minimalism and surrealism to create a sense of ambiguity, something you just cannot stop thinking about because you do not have all the pieces. I guess I have tried to apply that philosophy to Alto as much as possible, be always being careful about what I show and do not show. How far can you simplify a form until you are left only with its essence? Hopefully by doing so, you instead build towards an impression of reality, without the need to rely on details. The player's mind can do all the hard work of filling in the blanks. With Alto's Odyssey, we knew we wanted to explore a different range of feelings. A lot of the team had experienced some form of personal upheaval in the months leading up to development, so I think this inevitably fed into the core themes of the game, while Alto's adventure was about creating a cozy space for players to call home. We wanted this game to be much more about stepping outside of that comfort zone into the larger world. From an aesthetic standpoint, I think this manifests in much brighter, more confident use of color, as well as more extreme variations in the environments and obstacles that you encounter and the mechanics you use to traverse them. Epic Games has acquired Agog Labs, creator of the SkookumScript scripting solution and command console, for an undisclosed fee. The deal will see Agog cease active development on SkookumScript, although the tool suite will remain available as a community-supported plugin for and written engine for. It's also a purchase that gets a quickfire 1 tool for Epic, which acquired digital human tech specialist 3-letter list today. Here at Agog Labs, our goal has always been to create authoring and development tools that allow people to focus on bringing their passionate imaginings to life, said Agog Labs CEO Conan Reis. We melt our brains so you do not have to. Epic has the same goals on the spark of mad science, which makes it easy to align our paths. Sniper Elite and Strange Brigade developer Rebellion has acquired Yorkshire-based studio TickTock Games for an undisclosed fee. TickTock will become Rebellion's fourth United Kingdom studio, joining Rebellion Liverpool and Rebellion Warwick as sister studios to the company's headquarters in Oxford, and will be known as Rebellion North moving forward. For those unfamiliar with TickTock, the company has recently worked on a couple of Rebellion titles, including Road Trooper Redux and the Switch version of Battlezone Gold Edition. Bringing more great people to the company is a great way to start 2019, said Rebellion CEO and co-founder Kingsley OBE in a press release. The company continues to grow, and it's important we bring in the right people as part of that process. We have worked with the team at TickTock Games for a while now, and we know they will continue to prosper as Rebellion North. 11-Bit Studios has raised $500,000 for War Child United Kingdom by creating charity DLC for this War of Mine. In the 4 years since the game launched, the studio pledged to donate 100% of the cash from its charity DLC to a British organization, which is dedicated to helping children affected by conflict all around the world. Since then, over $500 has been donated to the cause, helping war child deliver aid throughout countries including Afghanistan, Iraq, the Central African Republic, Democratic Republic of Congo and Yemen. The cash has allowed for the creation of 3 temporary learning spaces, allowing 260 children to carry on with their education and complete their school year, while also providing summer schooling to 475 students in Iraq. It has also helped place 26 unaccompanied children with foster families in the Central African Republic, facilitated the opening of a new fundraising arm at War Child that's dedicated to working with gamers, and granted 840 children aged 4 to 6 access to early childhood and care development in Kabul and Herat,